Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to reading for the year of 2025. You have this Thinker card and this To the Sea card. We're doing a little bit of a different spread, and this first row is going to represent how you are entering into 2025. And again, you have this To the Sea card and the Thinker card. So some of you are clearly entering into 2025 thinking about moving in a new direction. The To the Sea card represents kind of traveling into the unknown or moving in directions you've never moved in before. Even the Hermit can sometimes kind of represent stepping into the unknown because he has been through a dark night of the soul. He's gone on this journey to find his inner light, and now he's finished his journey. He's standing at the top of that mountain, and he's shining his inner light. But I always say that I believe that the Hermit's next steps are that he needs to come down from the mountain. He needs to, shine his light to the world instead of like staying in isolation. But it's, imagine that you have changed significantly, or you have gone through something where you have learned a lot, like the Hermit has. And so it's almost as if he would be entering into the world, back into the world after a change as a completely new person, right? And so there is a little bit of maybe hesitation. The other thing about the Hermit is that he is, again, in isolation. And again, after you've been hurt or, after you go through a dark night of the soul, I think that it is very tempting to stay in isolation because you can't be hurt again, right? So even if it's not necessarily a person who hurt you, it could just be a situation, or, it could be a bunch of things that hurt you and you went into isolation to find your inner light. It's very tempting to stay in isolation. But again, I think with the Thinker card and the To the Sea card, it's saying it's time, entering into 2025. I think it's time to, pop out of a cake like a stripper into 2025. And that's how you should present yourself. Like, just, I'm here, right? And blast into the year. You have the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is a quick success or a quick conclusion. And so there could be some sort of quick success coming in for you at the beginning of the year. I do feel like there is like a little win coming in for you. Like, I'm not saying this is something, major or anything like that, but I do think there's like a little win that you should take advantage of. I'm a big fan of taking advantage of wins. Even my small wins, like over the past 5 years or so, I've really been making it a point to celebrate all the wins I have, no matter how big or how small they are. And it, again, call me crazy, but it seems like the more I do it, the more I win. So, I'm a big fan of doing this and of celebrating those small wins, but also like extending the time. I think all of us, we have this mindset where we have to like accomplish something and then we have to immediately rush off and accomplish the next thing. But if we take a little bit of time to like really celebrate the win instead of rushing on to the next thing, and we enjoy what we have earned, and it doesn't have to be money, right? You can earn, recognition or whatever the accomplishment is. I think that if we take a little bit of extra time to celebrate it, then we get the momentum moving in the right direction. And the Eight of Wands is all about momentum. The Eight of Wands is all about creating speed, but really it's about getting energy to move in the right direction. So I think celebrating those small wins is, a big thing with this Eight of Wands for you. And I think it will carry you through the year, so that's why I would do it. You have the Queen of Swords, a lot of clarity. It is interesting. A lot of signs for 2025 already have had a lot of cards that would represent clarity, and it makes sense to me. I mean, I think that 2024 might have been a little confusing, but in 2025, we have Neptune is going to be at the end of Pisces, then it's going to leave Pisces at the beginning of 2026, which I kind of feel is going to be a blessing, really, because Neptune and Pisces is confusing. I'm a Pisces. Neptune is supposed to rule Pisces, and it's been very confusing for me. So, I think it's confusing for everyone, and, I think that energy is kind of lessening, and it's going to make things more clear, like, especially like our path or the journey that we're on, whatever we're trying to accomplish. It's like, I don't feel like the Queen of Pentacles is anything. Sorry, these cards were mixed around. Let me give this a good shuffle. I don't think that she represents anything, again, major, but, I think this reading is saying that, especially this first row, that it's like the little things that are really going to matter for you this year. So, like I said, I would pay attention to those small wins, those small epiphanies with the Queen of Swords, or those small moments of clarity. I would, dig deeper and make them bigger. With the Hermit, you have the Fool. Definitely a time to take a leap of faith into the world, right? So again, the Hermit, like I said, sometimes I feel he needs to come out of isolation, and the Fool could definitely say that you need to take a leap of faith into the world. With the Eight of Wands, you have the Page of Swords. Yes, be curious, right? If you have a win, look at that win and say to yourself, how can I turn this into another win? Or how can I get more out of this? This is another thing that has completely changed my life over the past like 5-6 years or so, is that whenever I do have a win, I look at it and I say to myself, how can I make this happen again? How can I duplicate this win? It's just that simple. And I think the Page of Swords is saying, get curious on how you can duplicate your wins. And I don't think people know they can duplicate their wins, basically, right? And this has kind of been like a little superpower for me. I mean, if you don't know my story, I used to have a marketing agency that was very successful. And literally all I did is I went into businesses, I found out what was working, and I just said, do more of that. And I cannot tell you how many business owners I've worked with where it's like they don't even, number one, they don't even know what's working. Number two, they're like, I can do that again. I'm like, yes, why not? And so, I think it's very easy. And even I, forget things that I can be duplicating. So again, you can duplicate your successes. And the Page of Swords says, figure out how. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Devil. You have the Devil twice. Again, this could still be a good thing. You could be discovering something that's toxic. And, people ask me, like, why is that a good thing? I'm like, well, if you can't see it, then you don't know that you have to fix it. So, I kind of feel that some of you are seeing something that is toxic. It could be a person. It could be anything. And, I think you could be seeing that there is something toxic in your life, or the devil doesn't even have to be that dramatic. The devil can just be an energy vampire. It could be something that's stealing your time, effort, or energy. And by seeing it, you can remove it, and that would be a good thing. Next, we're going to look at what you are leaving behind in 2024. You have this drawing down the moon card. It says knowledge. And you also have this cold moon. It says face your fears. So I think part of what you're leaving behind is just guessing what will happen, which I think a lot of people do with Neptune and Pisces. With Neptune and Pisces, there's like a lot of guessing energy, and it's going to be stronger for you, Scorpio, because you're a water sign. And so now I think you're more doing things like I feel like the Facing the Fears card is saying you're taking more action instead of just thinking like, oh, this will go that way, or, this opportunity will go this way, and then you don't do it. I think you're in a much more like willing to try type of mode in 2025, which is a good thing, even though this is coming up as something you're leaving behind. Again, what I think you're leaving behind is the guessing side of things. You're not just going to guess and not do it. I think now you're going to maybe guess still and say, I think this will work, or I think this might not work, but I think you're more willing to try is kind of what I get here. And I know I'm speaking very generally, but I think this has to do with work, number one, or whatever you do for work. And, again, I think that you're going to be getting results. You have the Three of Pentacles here. Three of Pentacles is teamwork. Three of Pentacles says teamwork makes the dream work. I kind of feel like what you're leaving behind with the Three of Pentacles, you might be leaving behind certain people that you work together with. I don't think this is a bad thing either. I think that you're just growing. Maybe your skills have improved, and now it's just time for you to kind of like go off on your own for some of you. And again, I still don't think that means you're necessarily going to only be working alone. I think that sometimes we just outgrow a group of people, or, maybe we outgrow a person that we've been learning from, and it's time for us to learn more. So we have to like find a new mentor or a new person to follow. And I kind of get that feeling with the Three of Pentacles that you're expanding your skills, but you're probably leaving behind, like a teacher or something that has taught you. You have the Four of Wands. I mean, some of you could be leaving behind a marriage. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Again, you have the Devil here right underneath it. So if you are in a toxic marriage, you could be leaving behind. If you are in a positive marriage, then obviously this message is not for you. Again, so if you're in something positive, no, this is not saying that it's negative, or that what you're in is toxic right now. But I do feel like some of you could be doing that. The other thing about the Four of Wands is if this is not a marriage, which I think for most of you it's not, the Four of Wands is a card of completion. It says you have to cross this finish line right here, and you have to get to the other side of these Four of Wands so that you can celebrate. And the Three of Pentacles, he has completed something that he has been working on. He's put it on display, and Three of Pentacles is a card of quality work. It also represents getting recognition for the work that you've already done. So you could be completing a project or a business or, anything that you've been working on, and you're putting it on display and you're moving on to the next thing. I think it's pretty simple. You have the Devil. Again, I think you're definitely leaving behind something that is either an energy vampire or toxic. Take your pick. But I don't think this is a bad thing. Obviously, leaving this behind is a good thing. And an energy vampire, like I said, could be anything. It could be a job that steals your energy. It could be just something that you do every single day that steals your energy, like a habit or something else. So I think a lot of you are just leaving something behind that is toxic. With the Three of Pentacles, you have the Wheel of Fortune, pretty good. And I also think that you are taking more control of your life. I will say, looking at the astrology, I think there's better control for the water signs as far as your direction. And the Wheel of Fortune normally spins in whatever direction it wants, but we can control the direction. And I think what you're leaving behind is kind of like the chaos, the chaotic nature of the wheel, or that can be the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is a good card, but if you're not taking control of it, then it can be very chaotic. With the Four of Wands, you have the Eight of Pentacles, mastering a craft. It's funny I said that thing about a teacher. I was getting something about a teacher on the Three of Pentacles. I'm not saying it's literally a teacher, but I think everything teaches us something in life. And so the Three of Pentacles is saying to me that you have completed your journey with something. It's almost like something has been a teacher to you for a very long period of time. The Eight of Pentacles is mastering your craft. He is going from apprentice to master. Exactly what I said on that Three of Pentacles. It's like you are looking for a new teacher, or even masters have people that they learn from. So you can be mastering a craft, but you are like expanding what you learn from. And this could be learning from life. It could be learning from anything. With the Devil, you have the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, maybe this is something you thought you would never get away from, this devil energy. So if you've been dealing, well, you have this next card here that says tricky situation. So if you've been dealing with a tricky situation, you could finally be removing yourself from it. Next, we're going to look at the best energies for you to work with in 2025. You have this choose your path card. It says there are many paths before you, but you may only choose one. You have this tricky situation. It says a sly approach is necessary in order to safely navigate a tricky situation. So if you are dealing with a tricky situation, that's what you could be walking away from or dealing with the Devil. I also think you need to pick a path. We have the Five of Wands, the High Priestess, and the Temperance card. Five of Wands is a card of like education. These people are using sticks to fight. They're not using swords. So I always say, like, sure, the Five of Wands can represent conflict or competition, but really it's a card of learning. They are learning how to fight. It can also represent learning from the competition, and that's definitely a message that I'm getting here, is that I think it would be an amazing time, like, for you to learn from the competition. Anything that you want in your life. I think there are things, I'm not necessarily saying it's competition, but it could be other people. I would just be looking at people who have the things you want and learning from them with the Five of Wands, and I think that would be a great energy for you to work with that card. You also have the High Priestess, very intuitive year. So I think that tapping into your intuition, or learning how to better use your intuition, is going to be very important for you. I think it would be a great year for you to tap into your Scorpio nature as well and just be a detective. The High Priestess, she looks into secrets or mysteries. So I think if there is, in this row, we're looking at what energy you should work with. And I think like detective work, or, getting underneath things, getting into things that you are interested in, and definitely learning, because I keep getting education on that Three of Pentacles. And we go this way right here. Three of Pentacles, High Priestess to the Hangman. Hangman represents enlightenment. So I think if you are looking for answers or looking to get enlightened on anything in your life, obviously, looking into secrets or things that you don't know, it would be a good year for knowledge. You have the Temperance card. I think a lot of people have had this already as well. I've done a few of these readings for 2025, and a lot of people, it is coming up as kind of like a year to transform the situations that you're in. So this is a card of alchemy, and he can turn a negative into a positive. He can also turn a negative or a positive into a negative as well if he wants. But, I think it would be a great time to I think it is a good time. Let me back up and say this as well, Scorpio. I think it's a great time to be resourceful. And instead of like looking for new situations, it would be a good time to take the energies you're in right now and to look at how you can transform them and turn them into something better. So that's exactly what I would do. There's like a saying that, there's gold where you are right now, or something like that. And, basically the whole premise of the saying, or whatever it is, I can't remember, is that a lot of people, when they're working on something, they think they have reached their limit, or they think that they can't get more out of the situation. But really, if they keep digging where they are, they will find more gold. They just have to, alchemize the situation. And I think the Temperance card is saying that would be a great energy for you to work with. Like if you're working on a project or a business especially, it's like you might think, oh, I have to go do something else because this isn't making me money, or it's not making me as much as I want. But I think the Temperance card is saying, instead of saying that, ask yourself, how could it make you more money, right? I think of this lady on YouTube, right? That my assistant sent me. And this lady, she door dashes. And so she, I don't know how much door dashers make, but she makes whatever she makes. But she started a YouTube channel, and her YouTube channel is like blowing up. And she's getting like hundreds of thousands of views on her videos talking about DoorDash. So she has literally taken DoorDash and is using it to make probably more money than she makes with DoorDash on YouTube, right? So it's like, that's how we can take a situation and get more gold out of it. And I feel like the Temperance card is really saying, like, get the gold, get more out of all situations that you're in. With the Five of Wands, you have the Ace of Swords. This would be a victory over competition. But again, I think to stand out from the competition, this is about learning from the competition. Or, again, I always say, like, don't compare yourself to the competition. But I think it's a good thing to look at, maybe you're looking at the competition and you're saying, like, what gap are they not filling, or what are they missing? And that Ace of Swords could say you're discovering something that leads to a victory. With the High Priestess, you have the Knight of Pentacles. You're definitely needing to take action on something going this way. Knight of Pentacles is being too cautious and playing it too safe. The whole point of the Knight of Pentacles is that he has to plant seeds in this field and they will grow. So if you're thinking about getting started on something, I would also get started with that Hangman. With the Temperance card, you have the Two of Wands. Yes, Two of Wands, he is only looking at things from one perspective. He is only looking at things from the top of his castle, but he has the whole world in his hands. There are, he can get out into that world and he can discover new things. I always say that the Two of Wands is one of my cards that says the variety is a spice of life. Like, you have to get out and have new experiences because that gives you more skills, right? And there's definitely something about this reading that is saying get more skills. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this A Fiery Climax Approaches card, and also this card that says luck is on your side. So I think that a lot of you, to increase your luck, if you have more skills, you are going to get more lucky in quotation marks, because I think luck is just preparation, right? And being prepared to be lucky. So if you have more skills, then there's going to be more opportunity. You're going to feel more lucky, right? And I think that's what the whole entire reading is about. It's like about making yourself more dangerous in a good way, developing more skills or learning new things or looking at things from more perspectives so that you can see opportunities when they present themselves and take advantage of them, which is obviously a good thing. You have the Justice card, the Judgment card, and the Hangman. Some of you could be receiving justice or a judgment in a legal matter. I do think justice is saying that you are kind of balancing your life out more. I do feel like this year will be one that is like less highs and lows for you, Scorpio. I mean, all year we've been talking about you crying in a car, right? So I think this year, 2025, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I think it's more even as far as your emotions are concerned, or, it's kind of like more level. And I think that's a good thing. You have the Judgment card. The Judgment card says you could be waking up to your purpose or discovering your purpose, which I definitely feel with the Judgment card here. I think you could be discovering, what your true path is. And again, with the Five of Wands, it's like maybe you think your purpose is one thing, but maybe it's like some sort of gap that exists in the market, of whatever it is that you do, And I think that, that if I were you, that's really what I would be looking for. I would really be looking for what's missing in your career or your business or what you do for a living, because you might be able to discover something, that you can do well that becomes your purpose, but it seems to me like it's some sort of gap or like something that doesn't exist yet because you haven't created it, or, whatever. So there you go. You have the Hangman. Again, I think you will understand what this is because the Hangman has gained enlightenment. His head is glowing on the card. And now he is kind of getting answers on what he has been waiting for. I also feel the Hangman and the good stuff could say that you're making more progress in 2025. The Hangman, it basically could be saying you've been in Hangman mode in 2024, waiting for enlightenment. Now you're getting the answers in 2025 and, moving forward, which is a good thing. With the Justice card, you have the King of Wands. Yes, more bold, more assertive. You have this card that says a fiery climax approaches. So you could be taking more action, being more bold or assertive, really going after the things that you want to create. And obviously that would be great. With the Judgment card, you have the Star. Love it. The Star is like having a North Star, and which I think everyone should do this right now. With Pluto and Aquarius, I think we should all like pick some sort of big vision that we want to create, I would multiply it by 1,000 with Neptune and Pisces and Saturn and Pisces and really go for it. And are you going to be able to get your 1000x goal? Probably not. But if you get 10 times better than what you originally set out to accomplish, then that's 10 times better than what you wanted. So I encourage people to go 1,000 because maybe you'll get 100, right? And that's what I would do there. With the Hangman, you have the Tower. The Tower is showing up in the good stuff, and also you have the Judgment card and the Star right here. The Tower and the Judgment card is the most powerful combination in the tarot for me. To me, it represents like having some sort of major light bulb moment or major revelation. And I definitely feel that, Scorpio. You could be having like a major wake-up call, a major revelation. Again, the Hangman, he's had an epiphany. So you could be having some sort of major epiphany this year that helps you move forward. And so I would actually say that's a good tower, not a bad tower, of course. You have this Fortune card. Yep, really good. Sun's shining on you, Scorpio. So definitely could be increase in your fortunes or increase in your earnings with that card. You have this Affair card. Not really a love reading. I am going to do another reading for 2025, not next week, but the week after. So there will be another 2025 coming up, coming up, and we'll get more details. But, this is like a positive love affair. It's not like cheating, but there could be like a new connection coming in for you. You have this Control card. Wheel of Fortune. I think that Wheel of Fortune is saying control. The wheel, we have to control the direction of the wheel. We can do that with our vibrations. We can do it with education, or we can do it by doubling down on the good stuff. There's like 3 ways that we can really control it. So I would definitely take control of your destiny here. You have this risk card. I do think you're probably going to take a risk. 5 of Wands, Ace of Swords. That would definitely be you taking some sort of risk or moving in new directions that no one's done before, like we've been saying this whole entire time. And that's exactly what I would do. And finally, you have the Seduction card. Yeah, very attractive at this time, Scorpio. So if you want love, I would put yourself out there. I would go and get as much attention as you possibly can. I think that would be best. But really good, Scorpio. I like it so far. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your year.